Good afternoon. Market's been closed here for about 30 minutes. So just doing a little end of day market wrap, starting with a meme stock, AMC. Don't recommend this. You see it was up again today after down 2 days in a row. We did have some heavy volume, above average volume today. This is purely a meme stock, not one that I am recommending to anybody. I understand fully as of right now, the fundamentals do not matter on this. This is just purely being driven by the Redditors who are looking to kind of stick it to the hedge funds. I think that's overall kind of interesting, kind of funny. I know people are making a ton of money. I know the stock's market cap has gone up significantly since all of this began, but that doesn't mean that I am recommending this to you unless you really feel like you can sit in front of your computer and day trade. So let's take a look at the 5-minute chart here. So here is today's action. You see the stock did gap up. And even though it slipped here, it never closed the gap, right? So it did manage to finish today's session higher. If you think that you can trade in shorter time frames, maybe give yourself 5 minutes, 30 minutes. I mean, really, it can be whatever you want it to be, and then stick to those limitations. You could do that and you could be profitable day trading, but that's not what I wanted to talk to you about today. Just wanted to show you a little bit what's happening there. Let's take a look at the major indexes, the S&P 500. Let's flip over to a daily chart rather than a 5-minute chart. So you do see kind of flat today, down just fractionally. So really essentially flat for the day. Here is the NASDAQ composite. Over here, a little better, up for the day. You have the Russell 3000, which is the index of tracking 3,000 US stocks. So no change there. I'm not sure if the data are not in yet. Yeah, I don't think the data's in yet on that one. So we'll come back to that and I can show you that tomorrow. And let's see, finally, the Dow, which I've talked about this quite a bit. I think I talked about this in a video recently. That's a 5-minute chart. Come back to the daily. Yeah, you see here down 0.37%. So down a little bit today. Nothing too bad. If all the volume has indeed come in, looks like trading volume was lower today, which is what you want to see on a downside day, even if it was not too much. So markets have been a little choppy lately. You see that here on the Dow. Let's go back to the S&P 500, and you see over here, a little bit of indecision lately when it comes to the market direction. We had a really nice uptrend back here in March, then kind of hit a ceiling back in May, and let's see, 42.32. So really just stopped just short of that previous high, 42.38. So we see where the broader markets are hitting some resistance right now. So, if you're seeing some choppy action in stocks, that's what that tells you. So let me go back here. This is a list that I have pulled up of IPOs in the past year. And the reason I like this is newly public stocks often post very nice gains, really within their 15 years of going public, first 15 years. But the first year can tell you a lot. So this is Bentley Systems. It's software for infrastructure projects. Looking at a daily chart here, see that went public back in September. And nice gain here recently. So that one looks pretty good. Pop over to a weekly. We can see nice earnings growth, nice sales growth, decent projections. Analysts think that earnings will be down 6% this year relative to last year, another 7% gain. Okay, so that's one. Here's Academy Sports and Outdoor. This is a category that did really well during the pandemic. Outdoor equipment, outdoor gear. What were people doing? Get out of the house, getting outdoors. You can enjoy nature, hopefully mask free. But that looks pretty good, doesn't it? That nice trajectory higher. that you have up there did really well. This went public back in October, so a very new stock, looking quite good. Here's Eastern Bank shares, a small bank. Well, it's a mid-cap, market cap of about $4 billion, mid-cap with branch offices in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. So, just kind of a small stock, but you see here, nice upward trajectory, getting some decent support there above the 10-week line as it pulls back. Okay, Neo Games providing tech services to lottery operators. So you see it broke out of a double bottom back here in March. Kind of a choppy trading you see in this one. It's a small company, 1.6 billion market cap. Very nice earnings history here, though. You see some decent projections going forward. So that's a nice one here. Let's see, Maravel Life Sciences. So drug therapies, diagnostics, research. Biotech is a notoriously volatile sector. And you're getting squarely into mid-cap territory here, 10.72 billion market capitalization. But once again, even though it's a biotech, you see some very nice revenue. You do not always see that in the biotechs, but this one has great revenue, growing revenue. You see some nice earnings per share over here, some decent growth. So that's a nice one. And right now, again, with all the market choppiness, it's been very, very tough to identify a buy point. This one did clear a consolidation over here on Friday, but it's pretty highly volatile. Let me go back over to a weekly. See, I have a beta of 0.99, but I'm just not going to pop over to a daily again. Just got a lot of very big intraday price swings, which can sometimes indicate a lack of liquidity, can sometimes indicate somewhat of a disagreement between buyers and sellers as to where the stock should be. I'm not a fan of biotech anyway, just because it's so volatile. So I'm just going to move past that one. I really don't even want to spend much time on it anymore. Okay, so this is Upstart. This is the lending platform. You might have seen this one advertised on TV. I have. It's kind of a, not really peer-to-peer, but it connects consumers and lenders so you can easily get a loan. And I like this one. It seems like it really has great potential here. Yeah, Wall Street thinks the same thing, expecting earnings growth of 464% this year, then another 40% next year. Good revenue, a little bit of choppy earnings growth over here, but that's okay. The prognosis looks good, and seems to me with some good advertising campaigns, a lot of consumers are learning about the services. Is this really buyable right now? No, it's not, because it's well past any kind of pullback. Let me go over here to a daily chart. Yeah, see, it's trending well above that 10-day moving average. So just a little bit of education here. These moving averages, that's a rolling 10-day average of the past 10 trading sessions. There's the 50-day line. The past 50 trading sessions does not even have a 200-day history yet because it's so new, because it's a recent IPO. Went public back in December, so we do not even yet have 200 days. Nonetheless, I'm not liking that, only because it's just too far extended, and I really don't like these choppy market conditions right now. I would much prefer to see you make a purchase when the market has found some kind of stability. Okay, Dream Finder Homes, construction services. Let's just read the description here. Designing, building, and selling single-family homes and apartments. So definitely in the red hot real estate business at the moment, based in Jacksonville, Florida. They just acquired home builder Century Homes. This is obviously, as we've seen in the past year or so, major growth industry right now. Here are some of the other companies in this industry. Relative strength rating, Hovnanian 97, Century 93. Now let me see. Is that no, that's Century Com. I don't think that's the same one that was just acquired. No, that's Century Communities. You can tell if a company is being acquired. It trades in just kind of a flat pattern here. Actually, I'm going to digress from this list for just a moment, and I'm going to show you a company that's being acquired so you know what that looks like. So this is being acquired by Salesforce. This is Slack, and it's undergoing regulatory review, taking a little longer than it might. So it's actually going ahead and forming bases. But you do notice what happened here. It's kind of in a tight area, and you don't want to buy Slack right now either, because you may not get a good payoff on that investment since the acquisition is essentially priced in with the announcement back in November. Okay, I am going back to, okay, Zim Integrated Shipping. I wrote about this one for Market Beat recently as well. You know, what is a growth industry right now? Shipping containers. Okay, this one went public in January, and you see what's happened here. I mean, right? What was the situation in the pandemic? Everybody ordering stuff, and then you had some factories shut down, you had some backlogs. Everybody wants their stuff shipped pronto, expedited. So these shipping industry companies have done super well. I mean, look at this. Look how many of these have a relative strength rating of 99. Danios, Yersi, Eurodry, Navio, Starbulk. I mean, this is crazy. So this group in MarketSmith is 14 out of 197 industry groups. So just so you see the strength there. So let's talk about whether this stock is buyable. Okay. I'm liking that it's in a pullback right now. We slipped below the 10-day line. You know, you might actually be in a buy range right here. This I don't find terribly offensive as a buy candidate. Little bit of a somewhat of a double bottom action at this point. You got a high of 47.37 from mid-May, 47.17, so it's trading right below that. You had one leg down, rally attempt, second leg down. Look at that. The low here, 39.80, undercut the prior low over here of 40.21. So right now, we're kind of shaping a double bottom base. You might see an early entry point here. Once again, I'm going to caution you, you're going to come back to that choppy market action. Yes, things are doing well, but you really got to understand that right now, if you make a purchase of any stock, you might get whipsawed around a little bit. And, you know, we're seeing just a lot of things. The Fed, where we did see Yellen come out and said little inflation could be a plus, I believe were the words she used. So there's any number of things that could knock the market back a peg or two. If you're going to buy now, you've just got to really be prepared for that. Okay, so this is Atotech. And let's see over here, chemical company. You've got a mid cap. Not a whole lot of shares outstanding. Plating chemicals, you know, not a particularly glamorous or sexy industry, but hey, let's take a look. You got a lot of stocks from that industry, right, that are performing very well right now. And this is a UK-based company, by the way. Pretty decent earnings expectations for the next couple of years, so I'm liking that. Okay, let's do a little lesson here. Is it buyable? Yeah. Technically, yeah, because it pulled back today, found support above that 10-week line. You really want to wait and see if it does continue to find support there, if it kind of hits a floor there, or if it continues falling below that line. Little soon to say. We're below that May high of 24.95. I don't know. You know something? I don't know. I don't know why you would even buy a stock like this unless you were just saying, hey, this is an unknown little stock I'm taking a flyer on. And I could see it because it's one of those that nobody knows about. It's not a glamorous one like CrowdStrike I just wrote about, or AMC that I showed you at the beginning. Sometimes these little unknown stocks can be some of the ones that can do fairly well. Let me just show you another one. I'm going to come back to the IPOs here in a second. So this is one that I own here, Skyline Champion, and it's actually up since I bought it. You had this big move over here with the earnings report. This company makes modular homes, um, you know, manufactured homes. They also have some single family homes, but really more in the modular, manufactured, tiny homes in that niche. Yes, it's participating in the overall success of the housing industry because you can get low-cost housing this way that you can purchase. So I'm kind of holding this. I held it through the earnings report over here. I deliberately did that because I had purchased it back here. Never buy something right before the earnings report, by the way. And even if you hold something, be prepared. If you're going to continue holding it, be prepared. It can get smacked down during earnings or it can rise after an earnings report. Let me just do one here. This is also one I'm about to show you is a fairly new IPO. Go over here on a monthly, went public back in 2019, so it's pretty new. And this one over here has its, let's see here, forming a consolidation. I wrote about this one today. It's, let's see, pulled back over here after its earnings report on Friday. But then in today's session, it zipped higher again, which is very interesting because the market is kind of choppy today, as we saw. Not too much strength in the market, but this particular stock did better than the broader market today. All right, let's look at a couple more here. Apria, Home Health. I've seen this one. Home health care equipment, also a recent IPO. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, we're consolidating. I think this one is still a little too new. Went public in February. I would not. It looks good. The chart looks good. Wouldn't necessarily advocate a purchase of this one right now, just because it kind of needs to find its footing. There's not really any. It hasn't really paused to establish a true base yet. So don't really like it. Okay, let's do a couple more over here. Yeah, okay. Semrush Holdings, the SEO company, pay-per-click, social media, internet marketing company. They've been around for a while. Fairly recent IPO. Again, looks good. Looks good. But again, there's no real base has been established here. The other thing I don't like about this one is that no earnings are forecast for this year or next year. Did have a profitable quarter most recently. Revenue growth is good. Now, sometimes a stock can do well even with crummy fundamentals, and I'm not even talking about something like an AMC. I'm talking about Cloudflare, which has just had a gigantic run up here earlier in the year. It is now forming a really nice consolidation. I like seeing this. It undercut its prior structure low over here. Believe it or not, that's what you want to see. You want to see a pullback to reset the base count. You want to see it undercut the previous prior low before it resumes its rally. Earnings growth looks really, I'm sorry, revenue growth looks really good over here. And it's not unusual for a new company to be putting its money back into the company to developing projects. And this is cyber security, firewall, traffic optimization. Does a lot for all these companies that are cloud-based now and to really help them with a lot of these aspects of getting their business on the cloud, which is basically every business right now, right? Huge volume of business for them in doing that, as we see here by the revenue growth. Okay, let's take a look at one or two more. Okay, here's one I wrote about for market beat recently. That's Oatly. If you remember that Super Bowl ad with the guy singing in a cow field, this is a Sweden-based oat milk product company. I don't know why everybody thought that Super Bowl ad was so crazy. I don't know. I thought it was humorous. I didn't think it was as crazy as everybody else seemed to think, but I don't know. Maybe I have a high bar for what I think is crazy. Kind of forming a consolidation right now. Go back to a weekly chart. This is just so brand new. Just went public a few weeks ago. Don't do anything. Just watch it. Just watch it. And here's one more. We will take a look. Flywire, online payment company, similar story. You've got some revenue growth, earnings choppy, just went public back in May, just a few weeks ago. Don't put any credence into this pullback, okay? That can mean a lot of things. Nothing to panic about at this point. Very common. I like to use the example of Facebook. I've used this example before, but it's a really good one. And I'm going to go back to, let's call it 2014. Let's see if that's far back enough. No, I need to go a little further back. 2013. There we go. Okay. So Facebook went public back here in May 2012, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, and you see it looked really, really bad for a long time. I mean, that was well into 2013 there. So what happens if we go to 2016 on a weekly chart? Oh, well, lo and behold, look what happened. It started to rise. Let's see, about a little over a year after its IPO. So I show you this example of Facebook from 2012, 2013, just to show you do not get discouraged or impatient if you see a new stock. I'm going to reset this today. A new stock like Flywire, and I'm not saying this is going to be the new Facebook. You never know. I doubt it though, because it's not as glamorous. It's not so much of a consumer facing company. I mean, you see right here, it sells. Okay, come on, let's go. Let's get that out of there. Sells blockchain technologies. What is going on here? Just stop. Blockchain payment solutions to industry. So it's really a behind the scenes company. It's not something that's consumer facing. And let's face it, these consumer facing companies are the ones that tend to get the most media attention. They're kind of the darlings. But just saying, you don't know that Flywire. I mean, look, the market for blockchain payment solutions, yeah, I'm going to say that could be a big one, but we're not going to get into that one yet. All right, before I sign off, I promised you I would go back and take one more look at the Russell 3000. See if that came in today. No, we don't have the data feed on that one yet, so we can look at that one another time. Go back to the S&P 500. Look at that one. Yeah, and this is what I mean. Just a reminder about choppy market conditions. So don't be too excited to jump in and buy anything right now, even if it is AMC Entertainment Holdings. Okay, if you want to take a flyer on that, be sure you've either set some stops or you're ready to day trade in some very specific time frames. But other than that, I'm going to say no. Okay, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I will be back soon.